pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to number 3, and apologize for the heat in here. I'm told the air conditioner system is in the process of being changed out or worked on, and this is the last part of the building that's not cooled quite yet, so apologies about that. We'll move on to number 3, open forum. In addition to public comment on agenda items, the commission offers an open forum whereby citizens may comment on governance issues over which the city of Nacogdoches has domain. In accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, members of this commission shall not discuss, deliberate, or make any decisions on topics not posted as an agenda item. Speakers should address all remarks to the commission and limit your remarks to no more than 3 minutes, and that will be the case on any of the items tonight that you speak on. If you come up, please state your name, your address, and limit your time to 3 minutes. If for some reason you need to go a little bit over, just let us know, so we can just keep the meeting moving on. Is there anyone that'd like to address anything that's not necessarily on the agenda tonight? Okay. Moving to number 4, introduction to the Executive Director of Development and Public Infrastructure, Mike New. Am I saying that correctly, sir? That is correct. Perfect.
Good evening, Commissioners. This position, I believe, is new to the city. I come from Leander, Texas, so I worked 7 years in Leander under the now current city manager, Rick Beverland, so I did have some previous time with him. Leander's a fast-growing city, and coming here, there's a lot of opportunity. I got here as quickly as I could, and some of the things that I'll be doing here with the focus on development services, on engineering in particular, I've gotten to know Case and Jason pretty well, and I'm working very closely with Juan and Amy. We're going to take a hard charge at a lot of the, and I think this is on the agenda for the subcommittee, but ordinance changes. We're going to take a hard look at our comprehensive plan, our downtown plan, and a lot of what I'll be doing is really bringing those two teams together and taking charge of our capital project planning. So I'm glad to be here. There's a lot to do, and there's a lot of really unique opportunities here in Nacogdoches, so I'm glad to be here.
Well, Mike, thank you. And Rick's spoken very highly of you, and
Well, that's good.
and to boot, you're an Aggie, so I heard.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, so, no, welcome
That
to...
can be good or bad depending on where you are, so that's good.
No, it's good. Welcome to Nacogdoches. Glad to have you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Moving on to number 5, consent agenda. We'll go to 5A, approval of minutes. Consider approval of minutes from the August 12th, 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission. Is that in here? Is the August in here? It is in here. Okay.
With the changes, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Under the little round tab here.
Okay. And do we have have you guys been able to review it? Do we have a motion?
Just want to make sure that this is the right one.
Amy, so we'll approve this one, and then the September will be the correction to the vote.
Tabled it last month.
We tape. Right.
And then I emailed you the next day with the correction, so it's still the August 12th minute.
Okay, perfect. Gotcha.
We're just voting on them tonight.
Okay.
Right, it has the changes made within section B.
Okay.
So making sure that you are okay with that, because we didn't know which one. We wanted to make sure, absolute sure, that it was the one that you were speaking about.
Okay.
So that looks right.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as written.
A second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed say same. Okay. Moving on to 5B, approval of minutes. Consider approval of minutes from the August 22nd, 2024 Joint Planning and Zoning Commission City Council Workshop. When ready, we'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve that.
I second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say same. Unanimously passes. Moving on to 5C, approval of minutes from the September 9th special planning and zoning meeting. Entertain a motion when ready.
I'll make a motion to accept them as printed.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say same. Moving on to 5D, approval of minutes. Consider approval of minutes from the September 9th, 2024 regular planning and zoning meeting. And we'll entertain a motion when ready.
I make a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say same. Okay. Little housekeeping we had to get done there, so sorry, guys. Moving on to number 6, regular agenda. Number A, consideration, discussion, possible action on items removed from the consent agenda by commission action. We don't have that. Moving on to 6B, preliminary plat. Consider approval of preliminary plat for lots 2R and 3, Block 1, Nacogdoches Industrial Park West Subdivision, consisting of approximately 18.6 acres, located on the southeast corner of US 59 North and Ernest McLean Road. This request has been submitted by Jose Gonzalez of Kimberly Horn and Associates on behalf of the owner, Earl Herrera of EH Holdings LLC.
Thank you, Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Commissioners, Juan Paulette, Interim City Planner. So this subdivision is located on the southeast corner of US Highway 59 North and Ernest McLean Road, just west of the TxDOT office. The lot is currently undeveloped. The purpose of the proposed subdivision is to create 3 lots. The owner plans to sell the lots for future industrial development. The property is zoned I-2 heavy industrial and is surrounded by heavy and light industrial districts, except for the western portion of the property, which is adjacent to 59 North and the city limits. Just a brief history on the subdivision. This is the first plat of the Nacogdoches Industrial Park West subdivision that was recorded last month on September 5th. It is a 1.9 acre lot that was subdivided from the original 67 acres, being Lot 1, located on the southern part of the subdivision. And this is the 18.6 acre administrative plat for Lot 2. It was supposed to be recorded today, but the courthouse is closed for Columbus Day. Which brings us to the proposed preliminary plat for lots 2R and 3, Block 1 of the Nacogdoches Industrial Park West subdivision. The applicant is requesting a new right-of-way dedication for the proposed Wild Creek Road along the eastern property line, as well as additional right-of-way on Ernest McLean Road. The new Wild Creek Road, highlighted in green, will be a 2-lane collector roadway with a 60-foot right-of-way and a street width of 32 feet with curb and gutters. The City Council approved the name Wild Creek Road on October 8th council meeting, and Ernest McLean Road, highlighted in blue, will be widened from 16 feet to 32 feet on the north end of the subdivision from Highway 59 North to the eastern edge of Wild Creek Road. The proposed subdivision meets all of the city's subdivision regulations, and staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat. And this concludes staff's presentation, and I'll be happy to answer any questions from the commission. And I believe the applicant or the engineer is here if you have any specific questions for him.
Any questions?
totally undeveloped at the present time.
Currently,
correct?
yes.
So, my understanding is that it's just gonna be a storage building and a warehouse facility.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Yes.
But the plan does include a subdivision later on.
Well, it's gonna be subdivided into 3 lots.
Okay, got it.
The top lot, lot 3, hasn't been sold yet. It still belongs to the original owner.
Okay.
But all three plots are, they're all gonna be industrial, right?
Correct,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Does the applicant want to speak, or no, just unless there's questions? Okay, okay, thank you. If no other questions, do we have a motion, entertain a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say same. Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Absolutely.
Excuse me.
Moving on to 6C, consider recommendation to the city council for a specific use permit in B2 general business and R4 multifamily zoning district for stone, sand, gravel, and mineral extraction for approximately 5 acres on Lot 1, City Block 47, generally located on the east side of O'Tyler Road, approximately 1/2 mile north of the Powers Street and O'Tyler Road intersection. This request has been submitted by James Wood on behalf of the owner, John Mass, Separate Property Partnership LP, case file ZON 2024-06. Mr. City Planner.
Thank you, Chairman. Interim City Planner, Juan Paulette. So this property is approximately 5 acres and has significant elevation changes. The north side is about 30 feet higher than the south, with a 15-foot elevation gain along the western frontage of Old Tyler Road. The property is mostly wooded and undeveloped, except for an acre in the center of the property that is being currently excavated. The owner is currently using the property for the extraction of dirt and for other commercial properties in the area. Once the property is at appropriate grade, the owner plans to sell the property for future development consistent with the current zoning. The front half of the property along Old Tyler Road is Zone B2 General Business, and the back half is Zone R4 Multifamily. The area is zoned with a mix of general business, multifamily, and heavy industrial. The property is surrounded by several legal, non-conforming single-family homes, except for the east side, which is an industrial use. There are a few undeveloped lots adjacent to the north and west across Old Tyler Road. The future land use designation is single-family residential and is not consistent with the current zoning of the area, which is zoned commercial and developed with residential uses. Staff finds that although the future land use plan designation of the property is not consistent with the current zoning, the proposed use is temporary and will make the property more attractive for future development that would be in line with the future land use plan. Approval of the SUP will not change the land use permitted by the current underlying zoning. And this is a picture of the subject property from Old Tyler Road. You can see the entrance. And some pictures inside of the area where they're excavating.
Is this just them trying to get compliant with the regs? Okay.
Yeah. Similar to the Drury.
Right.
Right, yeah. Okay.
Some pictures of a single-family residence across Old Tyler Road, adjacent from the property. And this is shows the uses within the 200-foot notification area. Staff sent out 13 notices to those property owners and have received no written responses in favor or in opposition of the request. Staff also held a neighborhood meeting for the property owners within 500 feet of the subject property on September 16th. None of the surrounding property owners attended the meeting. Staff believes that this request meets the conditions for approval and recommends approval of the specific use permit with the following conditions. Hours of operation will be from 8 to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday. I have spoken with the applicant, and they usually start a little earlier, around 7. And if the commission agrees, would like to start at 7, maybe end a little earlier, around 4 or 5. They also going to preserve the existing vegetative buffer at a minimum of 25 feet width around all the property lines. Install and maintain silt fencing in line with the state regulations at the entrance. And the SUP will expire in 12 months. And additional street cleanup will be provided once a week or as needed to make sure there's no mud or debris on the road. This concludes staff's presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
If,
No, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna ask if we vote to approve, do we need to read out those, each one of those out, or can we?
It'd be best if you read them out.
Okay, so if someone makes a motion, please read out the staff recommendations, what they've agreed upon on the stipulations, please.
And the applicant is here if you have any specific questions for him.
Does the applicant want to speak for anything, or just for questions? Good.
So Juan, currently, it's just dirt's being moved, nothing's being put onto the land?
Correct.
Okay. And neighbors have been dealing with this already for a while?
I don't know exactly how long they've been doing it, but at least maybe a month.
Okay.
So the people doing the extracting, they prefer to start at 7 and end at like 4, or,
Yeah, they usually start at 7 and they end around 4 or 5,
yeah?
which quiet hours are from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So it'd be within the ordinance.
Okay.
Is the applicant good with these terms on the restriction? Okay, thank you. I'll entertain a motion. No. Oh, that's right, sorry, thank you, Amy. Keeping me honest. The heat. Okay, is there, we'll close the presentation and open it up for public comment. What do you like? Okay, we'll close public comment. And we'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion that we accept with these following conditions: hours of operation from 8 to 6, Monday through Saturday. Number 2, preserve the existing vegetative buffer. Number 3, install and maintain standard stormwater pollution prevention fencing. Number 4, that the SUP will expire in 12 months from the date it's put into ordinance. And number 5, additional street sweeping or cleanup will be provided once a week or as needed.
Did y'all want to go with 8 or 7?
What does the applicant,
They said 7.
8 or 7?
okay,
So,
you want to amend that?
7 to 5.
Yes, so
7 to 5 or 7 to 6?
7 to 4? Well, that's what Juan had, yeah, please come up here.
So, I'm James Wood, by the way. So
Address.
Address, just for the.
724 East Main Street, Nacogdoches.
Thank you, sir.
So our current hours are 7 to 4. I would prefer 7 to 5 in case we ran a little late, but 7 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have to amend yours.
Okay.
okay, so to amend my motion, the following conditions I previously stated: 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'd like to amend that to 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday.
I'll second the motion.
Hold on a minute. Read-
Do I?
Yeah, please read all
Okay.
of it.
So the complete conditions would be hours of operation from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Saturday, preserve the existing vegetative buffer, install and maintain standard stormwater pollution prevention fencing. The SUP will expire in 12 months, and additional street sweeping or cleanup once a week or as needed.
I'll second the motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say same. That's unanimous, Amy. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Wood. Moving on to 6D, consider a recommendation to the city council for a proposed zone change from 1-2 heavy industrial to R4 multifamily for approximately 2.87 acres on lot 78-S-5, City Block 56, located at 808 East Lane Drive and 2924 Hunter Street. This request has been submitted by the property owners Lee and Tracy Signs, correct? Case file ZON 2024-03. Mr. City Planner.
Thank you, Chairman. Juan Paulette, Interim City Planner. This property is located on the southwest corner of Hunter Street and East Lane Drive. The property is currently developed as a church with a parsonage. The property has two separate addresses for 911 purposes. The church is addressed off Hunter Street and the house is addressed off East Lane Drive. The purpose of the zone change is to subdivide the property into two lots, separating the church from the parsonage, which is a single-family home and without creating a nonconformity. And this is the proposed subdivision that would separate the church and the house. This property is zoned I-2 heavy industrial and is adjacent to a mix of residential, industrial, and commercial uses. The majority of the properties to the northeast and west of the subject property, with the exception of the adjacent property to the west, which is zoned heavy industrial, are all zoned R4 and developed primarily with single-family homes. The adjacent property to the south is zoned heavy industrial and is developed as a heavy equipment rental company. And the rest of the commercial properties south along South Stallings Drive are zoned general business. The comprehensive plan designates this area as rural development with the future land use plan. This land use category is defined as sparsely populated areas with limited development that are still distinct from most urbanized areas. Although this does not fit into the proposed future land use, the proposed zoning is more in line with the surrounding zoning, making the property more compatible with the surrounding neighbors and land uses. This also removes the potential of allowing the most intense land use to encroach into this residential area. This is a picture of the church and the parsonage from views with Lane Drive and Hunter Road. Some houses along Hunter Road adjacent to the property. The top picture is that heavy equipment rental business just south of the subject property, and a VFW hall just north of the subject property along Hunter Road. This slide shows the types of uses within the 200-foot notification area. Staff sent out 14 notices to those property owners and have received no written response in opposition or in favor of the request. Staff believes that this request meets the conditions for approval and recommends approval of a zone change from I-2 heavy industrial to R4 multifamily. And this concludes staff's presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, sir.
And the property owners are here too, if you have any questions.
Great. So question for me is, this is essentially subdividing the land that the church owns with the house that's a single-family home that's on there right now,
Correct.
correct? Who owns the home right now?
Uh,
The owners?
The owners.
Okay, completely separated from the church.
Well, right now it's together because the property currently is zoned I-2, which doesn't allow for just a single-family standalone home
Right,
in that zoning. But together with the church as a parsonage, it's allowed.
right.
But they're wanting to separate it, and so in doing so, that would cause a nonconformity.
Right, and so my question is then the deed, what is it titled under? Do you know?
As far as like who owns it, or the owners?
Owners
They
own it, okay.
It's titled under their name.
Okay, great.
Do they own the church as
They
well?
own the church as well.
That's great,
He's
okay.
the pastor of the church.
Wanted to know that,
Yeah.
that clarifies
Sorry.
it. That's quite all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Any questions? Does the applicant want to speak, or no, just here for questions? Okay, thank you. We'll entertain a motion. No, public comment, I'm sorry.
He's ready to go.
It's hot in here. I mean, I'm telling you, he's over here sweating, you can't see it.
I'm not doing well tonight, am I, Amy? Yeah, we will close the presentation, open up for public comment. Is there anyone that would like to
Yes,
speak?
if you guys, please come up here and speak if you'd like to.
If you state your name and your address, please, and you can pull that mic down if you want to.
I'm just here to translate for them, but they're on address 2915 Hunter Street. And they were just trying to ask questions as for how this will affect their property anyway. That's the only reason why they're here.
Yeah, have them come up here.
If they'll come up
Well,
and
They can speak in Spanish and someone can translate
you
for
can
them?
translate for them,
Okay.
or Juan can translate for them, whatever we need to do.
I can-
I would rather for you to translate. Okay. ¿Tiene alguna pregunta que quiera hacer?
If-
So she's trying to get a better understanding of how all of this will affect them since they are adjacent to that property that they're trying to divide.
So
Okay.
if she'd state her name, if you'll have her state it, you can state it in Spanish, put her name and address, and then we'll
Nomás si quieres
Su
decir
nombre.
su nombre y dónde vives, la dirección.
Emma García, 2915 Hunter.
So nomás estamos cambiando la zona
Pero
de
cambiando
esta
como.
propiedad, nomás la propiedad de ellos.
Oh,
No va a cambiar a la zona de su propiedad.
ok,
So,
mientras no me afecte a
no
mí
te va
para
a
nada.
afectar
No afecta nada. So
Su propiedad va a quedar igual.
I'll translate
okay.
it. It only, Juan is telling her that basically it only affects the people that are changing the zone and it won't affect her property. ¿Algo más?
Ok, no es que
No.
no sabía ni de qué se trataba, por eso
Todo bien.
pregunto.
Gracias por
Okay.
preguntar.
She had previously came up here and someone told her they were trying to change it to a commercial property. And so she thought it was gonna affect her and they were gonna possibly take her property away
No,
and things
ma'am.
of that nature.
No,
So
ma'am.
she just wanted some clarification.
Yep.
Thank
Está
you.
bueno,
Thank
most
you.
good.
What
Thank
I
you.
did want to clarify for her too, we are changing from single family to multifamily.
No, from heavy industrial.
Heavy industrial, sorry.
to multifamily,
All of our brains are not working today.
which would match the majority of the zoning in the
Single
area.
to multi, okay.
You good? Okay.
Okay.
Would anyone else like to address on this matter? Okay, we'll close it to public comment, and we'll entertain a motion or any other questions.
We're on a different one here. So it is saying multifamily here. One,
Correct.
okay,
That's what they're proposing.
okay.
Family.
So just clarifying for her too, because I want to make sure she understands as a resident around there, that it is going from a heavy industrial area into a multifamily, which, what does that allow for her, the family that's actually requesting this change? So if we can translate that for her too.
just translate that it's going from industrial to multifamily?
Yeah, to multifamily and what that means, because multifamily means,
They could build apartments. there.
correct,
Right.
Probably won't, but they could.
right.
So, están cambiando la zona ahorita está zonado industrial, so lo van a cambiar a familiares, varios familiares, como apartamentos, pero puede ser casas normales, o duplexes, o también apartamentos. Pero nomás esa propiedad no va a cambiar para la. Bueno, yo creo que la propiedad de usted también es sonado lo mismo. Pero no va a cambiar. Su propiedad va a quedar igual.
Okay, that's perfect. Okay, thank you for
My
doing that.
Spanish to the
Your
test.
Spanish is fantastic.
Yours too, by the way.
Thank you, very proud of you. All right. Well, I make a motion to approve it from I2 to from heavy industrial to R4 multifamily.
And I second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say same. Unanimous there, Amy. Thank you to the applicants and thank you.
Gracias por venir.
Moving on to 6E. Consider a recommendation to the city council for proposed zone change from R2, single family, to R3, two-family for approximately 1 acre on lots 1 and 2 of the Larry Wade subdivision and lots 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, City Block 47, generally located on the north side of Powers Street, approximately 350 feet east of the Ritchie Street and Powers Street intersection. Case file ZON ZON 2024-04. Mr. City Planner.
Thank you, Chairman. Interim City Planner Juan Paulette. These properties are located just east of Ritchie Street along the north side of Power Street. There are 7 lots totaling approximately 1 acre and are developed with the exception of one single-family home that will be demolished. The applicant is proposing to construct 4 to 5 duplexes. Because of the size of the lots and the density requirements, 5 duplexes would be the maximum allowed to be constructed on these lots. This area is surrounded by R2 single family and primarily developed with single family residences. There is a strip of R3 two-family along Ritchie Street, 1 block over to the west. And in 2022, a similar zone change was approved for 10 lots, 1 block to the east along Nash Street, which is now developed with duplexes. The future land use plan designates the subject property as single-family residential, which is described as conventional one-family detached dwellings, which also includes duplexes. R3 zoning meets the comprehensive plan designation by maintaining and encouraging compatibility while with existing uses and promoting growth inward. This is a picture of the subject property and then the single-family home that they're planning on tearing down. Some examples of single-family homes along Power Street. It's a view of Power Street looking east, and some city property just west of subject properties. These are the new duplexes that were constructed a year or two ago along Dolph and Nash Street after the zone change was approved. This slide shows the types of uses within a 200-foot notification area. Staff sent out 25 notices to those property owners and have received 1 written response in opposition of the request. This response was received today and was emailed to the Commission. A copy of this response is also in your binders. Because of the limited space, the property owner opposing the request has concerns of exceeding the density and on-site parking requirements and the impact on utilities in the area. Staff held a neighborhood meeting for the property owners within 500 feet of the subject property on September 18th. and one of the neighboring property owners attended the meeting, and she was in support of the change in the duplex construction.
You said she was in
She
support?
was,
Okay.
mhm. Staff believes that this request meets the conditions for approval and recommends approval of the zone change from R2 to R3 two-family. And this concludes staff's presentation, and I can answer any questions from the commission. And-
Is there adjacent R3? Is it adjacent?
Not adjacent, no.
How is that not going to be spot zoning then?
Well, spot zoning is basically, if it doesn't really, not so much the amount of lots, but if it's not in line with the comprehensive plan or the current use in the area, if it doesn't mix, then usually that's what's considered spot zoning. If it benefits the person that's requesting it more than it benefits the community, it's considered spot zoning.
Okay.
Is the person making the request here to answer any questions?
They are.
Awesome.
Would you-
Oh,
Hold on.
They're going to tell you have to tell us your name and your address. It's the favorite question of the day.
My name is Clifton White. I reside at 1745 Palo Alto Drive. I'm actually in Mesquite, Texas.
Okay,
75150 is the zip code.
you're good. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Do you have a presentation tonight, or are you just up to answer
I'm
questions?
just here to answer questions.
Okay.
Any questions?
So, as I'm understanding it right now, there's a house within that area that's about to be cleared,
Yes, sir.
and then we're moving it to R3 to put duplexes in.
That's correct.
I went out there earlier today. That would be a different type of housing. Can you walk me through, are we looking at making these rentals? Are these gonna be duplexes that people can own? What are the intentions of them? Because I think to Ruth's question and to Juan's answer about, is it better for the property owner or is it better for the community it serves? There's a pretty big saturation of rental properties within that general area. So I'm kind of interested on what the future plans are with those duplexes.
Absolutely. My plans, just a little background. I was born and raised in Nacogdoches. So I graduated from Nacogdoches High School. I also graduated from Stephen F. Foster. And I work with the Texas Department of Criminal Justice as the Assistant Regional Director. So I came back home to promote change. So I definitely want to start off as rental property. I'm researching now to see what type of changes are in the community. And then if I can have a comprehensive plan where I can have possibly the rent to own for ownership, it wouldn't be a problem. I also came here earlier to see if I could build upward and make it like two-story, so I can enhance the beautification of the neighborhood instead of just building traditional one-story housing. And that house that is currently there, I plan to, I bought all of the houses. They were actually my cousin's property. So because the houses were eyesores and not trying to develop those or renovate those, I tore all of those down, and the house that you see currently is the last house that I have to remove.
so did you buy the properties, did you buy the homes and not the properties? There's a property signature here, property owner signature.
It's one Alicia, that is my cousin.
Okay,
So we own all of the
Okay.
properties. Yes, ma'am.
together.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Well, my wife and I own the other properties, and she owned one.
One property, okay.
Yes, absolutely.
One, you didn't address this one that was in the binder, that, the opposition?
Yeah, I mentioned it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's the one that I addressed, that she's concerned of, I guess, overcrowding or the density issues and parking, and
And she's not here, I assume.
I don't think so, no, she just sent in a request.
So I do have just clarification on this. So it's got on her thing, it has her, I guess, is that her street address? She don't live over here?
Doesn't
She's,
physically live there, she just owns property
okay,
next to,
that helps.
yes.
Mr. White,
Yes.
are you working on developing this your own self, or are you working with a developer? How are you doing this?
Well, I'm as the general contractor myself, but I'm working with Roy Rodriguez. I don't know if y'all familiar with Roy. He has a company here, and he's gonna be actually developing the houses for me.
Okay.
Do you anticipate they're gonna look like what's already there?
No.
No. I mean, the duplexes that are,
The duplexes, I plan to enhance the neighborhood.
Okay.
Like I said, I was born and raised in the community, so I'm familiar with the community, and I know, you know,
Sure.
I was raised like 2 blocks over.
yeah, well,
on
they don't
Grove
look
Street.
terrible. I just,
Right,
I
right.
just was curious.
But the one that I'm about to tear down, it's been
Well,
there for
yeah.
almost 100 years, you know. So my great aunt used to live there.
Well,
Yeah.
so one of the issues that Miss Freeman had was about parking. You know, obviously we have ordinance laws or anything. Is there any beautification in terms of what you're planning on doing and developing within these structures that would essentially accommodate? There's a parking minimum, basically.
Absolutely.
What are your thoughts and plans? And this is just for my own curiosity, you know, knowing how you want to develop up. You're thinking about a 2-story townhouse?
Hopefully, yeah, it'll be townhouse base, still a duplex, but I want to make sure ensure that it's concreted. So right now it's all dirt. So and even when it was houses there, they still had dirt driveways. So I want to make sure that it has concrete. So with the wash off, everything is still drained properly. It won't have a problem with the upgrades.
How many rooms do you think is in each duplex?
I'm hoping to build 3, but if I go upward, I may be able to get 4.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I just have questions for Juan at this point.
Okay, thank you, Mr. White.
Thank you,
Appreciate it,
Mr.
sir.
White.
So much.
Thank you.
All right, Juan. So 3 to 4 rooms within one of these structures. What does that parking look like?
Well, being that each duplex is gonna be on their own property, on their own lot, then it's still the minimum, 4 minimum, 2 per unit.
2 per unit.
And ideally, 1 each additional for visitors.
Not required, but
Not required, no.
right.
And that comes back to the city, obviously, for approval on the plans, et cetera.
Correct, yeah, everything that will be constructed there will have to be approved by the city.
You know, I agree with, you know,
Engineering department, building official, and planning and zoning.
I agree with Lily, you know, trying to address the concerns of Ms. Freeman, her being the only one that's stood out. But I mean, we have,
And she doesn't live there.
right,
Yeah.
true, but
Just for residents and, you know, here's the time to talk about it.
Yes.
So,
But I mean, we have requirements in place to protect against water runoff, et cetera. So to hopefully ease her mind, should it pass, the city does a good job of ensuring that we don't have issues in the future with development, so.
Right, yeah, the engineering department will make sure that the water's running off back into the street and,
So all of her concerns about population density changing, all of that stuff's gonna be taken into account when
Right. Like I s-
approving.
yes. There's density requirements, so, each duplex needs 6,000, well, each unit needs 3,000, so a duplex would need 6,000 minimum square feet. And so you can't put more than that within that amount of square footage. Like I
right.
said, these lots aren't very big, so 4, 5 max would be the amount, the most you'd be able to put on these lots.
Thank you.
Hey, Juan,
Yes. Case,
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Hey, this is Kate, city engineer. All right. So she also, one thing that hadn't been mentioned yet, the landowner adjacent had a concern about utilities, and just to speak to that, there shouldn't be any utility issues. You know, there's line and sewer out. There shouldn't be much of a concern about that.
Okay, thank you, Case. What I interpreted from him was no issues, electrical, sewer, et cetera. It's
There's
already
water and
existing,
sewer along Powers.
existing infrastructure that would support this, so, okay. Okay, any other questions?
How big is each lot size, Juan?
The minimum?
No, just the lot size in general.
Usually, there's 4 on the west side of the property. Let me go back to the 4 on the west side of the property average about 60 to 70 feet wide and a little over 100 feet deep.
So
The
6,
one in the middle is a
7,000?
little
Yeah, so it is
narrower.
6,000 to 7,000
Yeah,
square feet.
and then the 5th and 6th one over, they would have to put
Looks
one
smaller.
duplex over the middle of those because those 2 lots are approximately 35 to 40 feet wide. So those 2 properties would have to be combined. And they would be able to build over the property lines, since he owns both properties. They would just put the structure over the property line.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll entertain a motion when ready.
I'll make a motion that we accept the zoning change from R2 to R3.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say same. Unanimous. Amy?
Congratulations, Mr. White.
Mr. White, thank you. Thank you for your coming.
Oh.
We didn't have a public hearing.
Oh.
What now?
We didn't do the public hearing part.
I did, didn't we?
No, that was just the applicant.
There's somebody here.
I'm batting
first.
1,000 here at least. Okay,
We really need air conditioning in here.
my goodness. All right. Is there any public comment? Everybody here is either city or not, so has anyone joined that would like to speak on the matter? Okay, we'll close for public comment and vote stands as it is. Do we need to do it again? Okay. Thank you. Mr. White, thank you for your
Thank you, sir.
investing back in the community.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming back.
Amy, are you going to send me to remedial chairman training?
That's as long as Amy keeps you straight. We're good.
We're good. She's keeping me calibrated tonight. Moving on to 6F, consideration and possible action to appoint 2 Planning and Zoning Commission commissioners to the City of Nacogdoches Zoning Ordinance Amendment Committee. Mr. City Planner?
So in the past few months, staff has been working to amend the zoning ordinance with several changes. To improve productivity, it has been suggested to the committee to put together 2 representatives from City Council, Planning and Zoning Commission, ZBA, and city staff. So we're here tonight to nominate 2 commissioners that would like to work with the committee and updating our zoning ordinance. And so,
Unless anybody else is dying to do it, I'd be glad to volunteer. I probably have more time than the rest of you, since I'm not gainfully employed anymore, so.
Give it that. Who else would like to be on that?
If there's nobody else, I'm happy to.
Yeah, I'd like to nominate Z. Sorry, Commissioner.
I like the ordinances. I think I'm the kind of guy that eats popcorn and reads through all that.
Yeah, I think he'd be great at it, and I think Ruth would be great at it as well.
They're gonna send this end of the day.
Yeah, okay.
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 Are you guys good with it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Sounds good. You have your members there.
Awesome.
Thank
Great.
you guys for serving.
I-
Can we entertain a motion? I'll make a motion to approve the and Miss Ruth on
Whatever
this
we're gonna
committee.
call
What is this?
right?
This Nacogdoches Zoning Ordinance Amendment Committee.
And I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say same.
Great.
Okay. Moving on to 7, minor plats with staff approval. These were approved since the last meeting. Do I need to go through this?
For the record, please.
Okay. 7A, Nacogdoches Industrial Park West was recorded on September the 5th, 2024, under document number 2024-5982 in the records of the Nacogdoches County Clerk. 7B, Spradley East subdivision was recorded on October the 8th, 2024, under document number 2024-6745 in the records of the Nacogdoches County Clerk. And 7C, RJ Boyack subdivision was recorded on October the 9th, 2024, under document number 2024-6776 in the records of the Nacogdoches County Clerk. Are there any comments on that? You good, Lou?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on to Agenda 8, Item 8, discussion and possible action on future agenda items. A planning and zoning member may inquire about a subject for which notice has not been given. A statement of specific factual information or the recitation of existing policy may be given. Any deliberation shall be limited to a proposal to place the subject on an agenda for a subsequent meeting. Do any of my fellow commissioners have anything they'd like to discuss on a future meeting? Okay. If that's nothing else, we will adjourn today.
Time.
Oh, time is 5, call it 53.